I on? I'm on. Hey YouTube, friends and family, faithful followers. You can probably tell by the tone of my voice I don't sound very adventurous, Vin. I'm more aggravated, agitated, Vin. Oh, do I got a whopper for you guys. But just to catch you up, right now we're in between the 5 and the 99, heading towards the 1,000 Trails campsite we were supposed to be at last night. Before I go any further, I want to give a big shout out to our tow truck driver from Caveman Towing, John. Big shout out to John and his partner. Yes, we did have our RV towed. I'll get to that in a second. But big shout out to John. Good luck in your private pilot, corporate pilot licensing, and with Dutch Brothers. We're looking forward to those stickers you're going to send us. But seriously, John, thanks so much for coming to our aid, getting us off the freeway, and getting us to our next destination, RV and trailer. Another shout out to TJ, Cav Scout Brethren, at the Ford dealership in Reading. Had a great conversation with him. Was fortuitous that we ran into each other. So looking forward to keeping in contact with you, TJ. Thanks for the conversation, and good to run into another Cav Scout out there in the world. So, yes, we ended up at a Ford dealership. We ended up being towed. Shortly after, I assisted this lady and her daughter redo their timing belt on their Ford Taurus with the help of another trucker. As I mentioned in the previous video where I'm on the side of the freeway and hear all the traffic, about 2 hours after that is when we overheat. I simply thought it was an overheating issue, that I had it in the wrong gear. That's when the guy, truck driver with the car hauler, pulled over and he handed me 2 bottles of coolant, which I thought was awesome. It was I can't think of the word right now because I'm tired, but you know, karma, I guess. I'm glad he stopped, but what was actually in the bottles, which I thought was coolant, it was actually water, which we needed anyways. But it was a nice enough gesture for him to stop and give us the 2 Prestone bottles filled with water. So I put those in there, you know, let the engine cool off, and started up. Meanwhile, I asked Julie, hey, go ahead and call AAA. Let's get AAA going as a backup. So we make it 30-40 yards, we heat up again. It's 55. These people feel like people are driving Indianapolis 500 over here on a rural road. Anyways, heats up again. I'm like, well, what's going on? I go, well, now for sure. I mean, I can't. I don't know why it's heating up. I'm not a mechanic, people. I'm not a mechanic. I do what I can. You know, thank God and other YouTubers, I'm able to get some mechanical stuff done. So I'm limping along the freeway, and Julie says, well, just wait for the tow truck driver. We know he can't. He's committed right now, but let's see what he says. He's going by. So he pulls over, and this is John. I just gave a shout out to. Had the hood open. Now it's getting dark, and I said, you know, I had the battery light on. I had the service engine soon light. Power steering's bad. So he looked at me and he goes, well, look down. He goes, I know what your problem is. Your belt is gone. Well, shock fell over my face, because as soon as he says that, I go back 2-3 hours prior and me helping somebody with their belt, and not for once thinking that I had a belt issue. Not for once. The belt is shredded. And it's all the residual parts that were shredded wrapped around the bushing of the fan belt, the fan motor. Oh man, so he goes, you know, it's going to be hard to replace her on the side. I got to bring this other vehicle down to Weed, California, or another destination. I'll be back to pick you up with another tow truck to get your motorcycle trailer. So we limp it off the freeway little by little. We get into a safe spot. I debrief the rest of the belt around from the fan belt, and at that point I call the Ford dealership. I have AAA towing, and AAA will tow 200 miles. I have the RV package. So we try to see how far we could go southbound, which was Reading, California, which we just left. So I called the Ford dealership, which was still open. They closed at 8. I talked to John, another John. Everyone last night said it was John, apparently. I talked to John at the Crown Ford dealership, who was the, I believe he was sales manager, and told him what we were driving, told him what was going on. I said, hey, we identified it, it's actually the belt. He goes, we'll have it towed down here. You guys are welcome to spend the night in our parking lot in the RV. Early in the morning, we'll get you started, get you back on the road, you know, Serpentine Belt, no problem. He goes, you don't have to even be in one of our bays or don't need a lift. we can get that, no problem, besides your vehicle. Perfect. So when John from Caveman Towing comes back, we said, hey, we got a destination. And I think the drive was about 2 hours long. It was 150 miles, 130 miles southbound en route of our destination. So we hook up the RV, hook up the trailer. Julie and I jump in with John's truck. We head down, had a really good, interesting conversation. We get to the Ford dealership. Really nice security guard. I want to say her name was Brandy or Branda, something like that. She said, hey, I'm the security guard here. I'll keep an eye out while you guys were here sleeping. I'm here till 6. I'll make sure nobody messes with your motorcycles. Everything looked good. Also on the way in, I called AutoZone, and they said, yeah, we have 2 belts that you need. We have both. We have a quantity of 2 of the belt that fits your engine. I go, perfect, put them on hold. I'm just going to get them as extras. So everything's set in place. We get towed down to the location in Reading. We're there, we're set, going to bed. I'll go in the morning. I got the scooter and the motorcycle. I just take one of those over to the place to get the belts. Get up in the morning, try to get the scooter going. The scooter does not want to start. Does not want to run. I'm trying to troubleshoot it. Backfiring a little bit, it's sputtering, it's not keeping the RPMs up. Trying to troubleshoot that. Of course, I can take the motorcycle off, but I'm frustrated. Something's going on with the scooter. So I wanted to be at the auto parts store by 7:30 in the morning to get the belts, have the belts in place before I go talk to this service at 8 a.m. So by the time my scooter's giving me issues, I'm like, forget it. I'm just going to have everything serviced here at Ford. I go talk to the service manager. I can't remember his name right now. And he said, hey, sorry, we can't help you. I mean, we're right there. We're looking at the service department. Huge bays. Not a single car in them. And he goes, yeah, you know, liability, you're kind of big. And I'm this, you could have fixed the Hindenburg in this shop. Beautiful shop. And I'm thinking, he tells me, no, liability, you're too high. We've tried to do RVs before. And I'm kind of torqued. I'll be honest with you, I'm kind of torqued. This is not John, the sales manager's fault, honestly. And so I go back and I tell Julie the situation, and so she starts thinking of plan A, B, and C. And I said, well, at minimal, let me go get the belts from the auto parts store, AutoZone. So I go there, I get the belts, I get a couple of things of coolant. I come back to the RV, I go get my breaker bar out. I got 3/8. It takes a 1/2-inch breaker bar. I call back, yeah, we have one. We have them for sale here, 18 and a 24-inch. I'll take the longer one. And the auto parts store is about 1.5 miles away. I go back, get into the breaker bar, come back in. The head of it was too thick to fit between the fan blade and the tension pulley. I'm just shaking my head. Julie's looking at me. I'm just thinking, why is this going on? And by the way, by that time, I got the scooter somewhat working. So I told Julie to find a Napa. Well, there's a Napa right next to it. So an hour or so, not an hour, 1.5 miles down the line, I go to Napa. They give me another breaker bar. I have that breaker bar. It's a smaller profile head. I bring that breaker bar and the one for AutoZone back to AutoZone. I said, hey, I hate to return it so quick, but here's the deal. It's too thick. I got this one from Napa. And he looks at me and he says, we have that one too. That was the 18-inch. I gave you the 24. It's a little bit bigger, beefier. I go, are you serious? It was about half the price that Napa charged. But props to Napa and AutoZone. They both give military discount. So I said, yeah. He goes, well, what are you trying to do? And I told him, I'm trying to get the Serpentine Belt and the pulley tensioner, the tension pulley. There's not enough. He goes, oh, we have a Serpentine breaker bar designed as a small profile just for Serpentine Belt. I'm like, what? And had an extended arm and it articulated. So he shows me that. It looks perfect. So I end up giving him back his breaker bar and we do the exchange. I take the low profile one. Now I drive back to Napa, wait forever to return that, return the other one to Napa, get back to the dealership. So I got back to the Ford dealership. I have everything I need. No more traveling, no more going to auto parts stores. I think I made a total of 3 or 4 trips to these auto parts stores just between belts and breaker bars. And I'm about ready to wrap it, and I got everything in place. And one of the sales guys comes up to me and asks me about my Kenda trailer. And there's a video I did earlier this week about my Kenda trailer. But people that have motorcycles often ask. As a matter of fact, I used to be that person. I saw someone with a motorcycle trailer, and I asked them about theirs. So we went to go talk about it, and I had my KLR covered. I uncovered the KLR to get the cover taken off. Turns out, and he sees my Cav Scout, my 19 Delta Cav Scout emblems, and turns out that he himself was a prior 19 Delta Cav Scout. I think he was Iraqi, so he was Operation Iraqi Freedom vet. So we had a great conversation. We talked for a while and kind of got my head in a different place, and then he had to go back to work. And then I was able to wrap the Serpentine Belt as much as I could without any assistance. And then Julie came out, held enough tension for me to wrap it around the rest of the pulleys. The breaker bar made for Serpentine belts and pulley tension pulleys that I got from AutoZone worked perfectly. Justin doesn't know about my YouTube site, but Justin was the guy at the AutoZone. Thanks a lot, Justin, for getting me that tool. So pulled enough tension, wrapped it around, added the coolant, and here we are. So of all the adventures I've done, when I'm sitting comfortably in my living room, oh, this is Adventure Vin, or I'm talking to guys outside of my driveway and talking about my KLR and some parts, all these beautiful controlled environments, and really no semblance or association with a real world adventure. We're not home yet, by the way. We're still north of Sacramento with a full black tank and a full gray tank in our RV. No water to drink. We're headed to a Walmart and a Lowe's right now. Knock on wood, the RV is running fine. As you see us, we're in motion. But we're still north of Sacramento. Our adventure is not over, but I just want to give everyone a recap. Yeah, we got off the freeway, but from now on, word to the wise, you're in an RV, make sure you have oil, motor oil, transmission fluid, oil for your generator, coolant for your engine, the right tools, the right breaker bar, and yes, I do have an additional Serpentine belt. I bought 2 from AutoZone, so I got 1 of those and the tool in my box. So if I've never said, I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I mean it more now than ever. Life is an adventure, so make your journey a good one. Be prepared. Have a great day, like, subscribe, and don't forget, whatever you're riding, get out there and ride.